This painting is called Walking on a Mountain Path in Spring, painted by Chinese artist Ma Yuan during the Southern Song dynasty. During his life from 1160 to 1225, Ma Yuan was a court painter during the reign of Emperor Ningzong around 1195 to 1224. Ma lived in the capital of the Southern Song at this time, Hangzhou, near China's coast and near the mouth of the Yangtze River. He, as well as his entire family lineage, served as court painters within the Imperial Painting Academy. His works, along with those of his fellow court painter Xia Gui, became the basis of Ma Xia school of painting, which inspired later generations of both Chinese and Japanese painters. Their artistic goal was to create landscape scenery of boundless space, almost dividing the focus of their pieces between both the subject and the emptiness.
Today, Ma Yuan is mainly known for his landscape scrolls. He developed a personal style with decorative elements such as the pine. Ma Yuan's lyrical and romantic interpretation became the model for many later painters. Notice how this painting is asymmetric and the right part of the painting is open and spacious. The artist became known as one-corner Ma, in which the actual subjects of the painting are pushed to a corner or a side, leaving the other part of the painting more or less empty. This allows the observer to use their imagination. This painting contains the three perfections of Chinese art: Ma Xia painting, poetry, and calligraphy. It is both graceful and elegant in the way it balances observational detail and mystery. The images appeal to the emotions of the observer as well as emphasize the power of emptiness surrounding them.
This piece was painted by Ma Yuan on an album leaf, ink and color on silk, containing in the corner a poem by Emperor Ningzong. These lines of poetry roughly translate to: "The wildflowers dance when brushed by my sleeve. Reclusive birds make no sound as they shun the presence of people." An interesting point about the calligraphy is its origin. There was no record of which was created first, the calligraphy or the picture.
The scholar in the center of the piece stands still in the idleness of nature, stroking his beard thoughtfully as he ponders the nature surrounding him. He peers off into the void of the painting, delving deep into its emptiness to find his thoughts. So who exactly is this scholar? His fine clothing indicates he is a man of some stature, quite possibly a nobleman. In some Southern Song-era paintings, a white-robed figure dressed as a scholar could be the emperor himself. In that case, the painting becomes a celebration of the emperor's ability to remain close to nature in the midst of his political responsibilities. The other human in the figure at the lower left appears physically smaller than the scholar, an artistic significance that this man is not equal to the scholar, and is instead an attendant or musician for the scholar. The young boy in the corner carries a zither, a type of stringed instrument. He is taking a step forward in motion, while the scholar seems to have stopped in order to appreciate the beauty before him. While we can see some branches and rocks off to the right, much of the scene before the man is hidden.
We see the branches of the weeping willow bending around the scholar depicted in the center, almost enveloping him within the tree and nature itself. By standing within and pondering nature, the scholar seems to have a spiritual connection with his surroundings. It is worth mentioning that both the willow and the outward growing shrubs appear to point out into the void on the right, signifying a growing out of sorts, pulling the eye towards the emptiness where the scholar peers. Even a bird appears to move towards the right. Perhaps the entire scene is angled towards the calligraphy. We can also consider the creation of peace, unity, and understanding from essentially nothing.
The mountains in the upper left of the painting fade into the distance, eventually lost in the mist and fog.
As we gaze onto the upper right, we see one bird rests upon the weeping willow, while another bird in the corner, both golden orioles, appear to be the only information in the top right corner besides the calligraphy, allowing the audience to pay close attention to its silent and graceful flight. In etymology, the golden oriole represents wealth and prosperity. This might be another reference to the scholar being the emperor, in that he is surrounded by wealth and prosperity. This could also be a reference in large to the Song dynasty. Ma Yuan wishes his empire a successful and prosperous future, symbolized by the birds of wealth.
If we take the calligraphy poem to be the truth about this piece, We know the bird had been frightened out of its tree by the wandering scholar, and as it flies into the empty void on the right half of the piece, we cannot help but wonder where it's actually going.
During this era, artists captured the sense of nature and calmness of certain natural phenomena. Enormous looming mountains and bent trees sit alongside still ponds and majestic birds, all showing a different part of nature, yet still remaining incredibly calm. This work focuses more on the landscape and emphasizes the connection between nature and the human spirit.